brings the scores to 19-8. And after weathering that storm, I'd imagine the thoughts are, right, we're in business here. But then literally a minute later, we get on to the Danie Rossouw collision. What do you actually remember of this?
I remember, again, the big, all the chat about, you knew they were coming around the corner, and I just thought, if I'm going to win one of these collisions, I've got to preempt it. He can't see me coming because, simple physics. A man of his size, a man of my size, and we meet at the, eye one another up and meet on the collision zone. There's only going to be one winner. So I knew that I had to try and catch him blindsided. I know lots of factors worked for me. Question marks as to how my legality of being onside. Let's not worry about that. I came from out to in, which is what our defensive set was. We were very much set wide and shoot in. And then Fourie Dupree sticks him inside shoulder, so his eye line is back in towards the ruck and only sees me coming at the last second. And I literally just ran as hard as I possibly could. It was like a sprint into a challenge, and then just fired myself into a collision of sorts. The legality, I will leave up to you guys.
I'm trying to find his weight. I can't find his weight. He's 6'6", but he must be about 600 kilos as well.
I played against him in my last game in Europe in 2014, 13, maybe 14. I remember seeing him in the aftermatch function and thought, my goodness, I really must have been concussed in that first half to have taken that on. He was an enormous man. He, comfortably as big as Backy's, I'd say bigger. Stupidity of the highest order.
They make him different in South Africa. That's for sure. As I said earlier on, Brian, you can almost see on your face that the questions you're being asked by the medical professionals aren't going your way. You're getting a few of those questions wrong, it seems.
Yeah, well, what happened is I got up from the collision and I kind of ran away off camera, but yet I'm really struggling. And then the camera pans to him and he stands up and then falls over. So he's in bad shape, but I'm equally in bad shape. When Gary O'Driscoll comes in and has a conversation, I don't know specifically what we're talking about. I'm just trying to argue my point that I'm fine and that I'll be fine to continue, and just give me a second. And I can't remember the specifics of what we would have talked about. Okay. But I would anticipate that it was something along the lines of trying to convince him that I'm grand.
So when you're watching it now, what do you think?
It's obviously crazy to think that, a collision like that and an impact and having treatment and clearly struggling for focus and, to know, have my wits about me, that you're not immediately removed from the pitch. But it was of that time. And I certainly don't look resentfully at the medics and think, you didn't look after me there. It was just where the game was, and it was something you did. You just tried to stay on no matter what, and that was, and I say it was my decision. Maybe you're not. I know you're not thinking properly, and things have changed. But I don't look at them and go, "Gosh, come on, you should have done me a better turn than that." I don't look that way. I just look at it going, "That's bonkers. That would have been allowed." And kind of just compartmentalize it as a moment of one of many moments of kind of madness during that period that players were able to stay on. But it was just the expectation.
The expectation too that you would try and make one of those tackles on somebody like that. Like the point you make, half in jest, that you must have cussed in the first half. Fully aware of everything, would you have tried that tackle knowing that he's 6'6" and you might come off?
I think so. I was saying it. I think you're still trying. You're constantly. It's all about markers. Those games about trying to change a momentum, and as well in that when you're on the back foot and you're defending, you just need something to change the momentum. So I think there was probably a bit of thought to that if I can put in a big shot and turn the ball over, and against one of their bigger ball carriers when it's not expected. Those things can swing games. And so as much as I mightn't have been thinking very clearly, I think I still would have gone and done that if I had, you know, all my wits about me still.
So no regrets.
Yeah.
No, I've no regrets about it. It's funny, right? And we'll get on to the Havana try in a second about it. And I can look on that a couple of different ways. But I don't regret going into it, no, because thankfully there were no repercussions on the back of it, of a second head collision in of that magnitude. And I'm able to look at it that way, but I don't regret it. No, it was a marker moment, trying to be a marker moment, and it sort of did its job for that time.